Today's pose is called dragon. So I would highly recommend some blocks and a blanket or towel to use for this pose. So if you'd like your knee to be a little more comfortable, you can place a blanket down on the mat under your knee. We're going to start with our right knee back. So stretch your right leg back as far as you possibly can, and then bring your left knee up so the knee is directly over the ankle. Now you can use props for different levels in this pose, depending on what makes you feel it a little bit more in your hip flexor. So you can either place your hands all the way up on your knee, and that'll give you a little bit more of a back bend. It is a little more muscular though, so that can be a little intense after a while. And you can use blocks like I'm using, and you can use different levels. You can use the high, middle, low, or if you'd like to, you can put your hands directly on the ground. And if you have a lot of space, you can go ahead and put your forearms all the way down. But we are going to be here for 5 minutes, so that can be pretty intense. So of course, if the intensity gets a little too much for you, go ahead and adjust your props. But try to stay as still as you possibly can in these poses. I like to be on the upper side of the blocks. I feel that more in my in my hip flexor on my right leg. I feel that a lot more if I'm a little bit more upright. But of course, this is your practice, so you adjust however you like. And just take a body scan, soften any muscles that you're not using in this pose, and just try to breathe into it and relax. Okay, let's slowly start to bring your left knee back to meet your right. This can be a pretty intense pose, so please be mindful of your body and don't move too quickly. You might like to do some nice hip circles, cat-cows, even a child's pose. Just whatever your body needs right now. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring the right leg up and stretch the left leg back. This side might feel different than the other. Just keep that in mind. Most people's bodies are not symmetrical, so this may be more or less intense. And of course, if you need to adjust your props for this side, please be sure to do that. Just make sure you feel a good sensation in your left hip flexor, but not pain. We never want pain, but we do want a nice kind of achy sensation. And this pose, I really love it because it's a great hip flexor stretch, and it also strengthens your hip joints, and that will help you prevent runner's knee. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this pose. So remember to try to soften as much as you can. We never want to force. You cannot force your way into greater flexibility. You have to allow your body to open up. Let's mindfully bring your right knee back to meet your left. Be slow and mindful, taking care to come out of the pose. And do some nice gentle movements. Swing your hips. Take a nice child's pose. Just go ahead and stay here for a few breaths. Namaste.